the pop culture feel, and you will.
We had a video game episode previously, and as we have often said, one episode for a lot of these subjects is not enough. So today, folks, we're going to be getting into part 2 of our video game extravaganza. We've spoken about many different franchises and many different games before, mostly in the war games and military genres. Today, we're going to do a little bit more of that. We'll talk about some more recent games and some re-releases and stuff. I'm thinking of Ready or Not 1.0, but and then we're also talking about some non-military tactical games because, Cameron, you know, when you were in as well as when I was in, video games is a big part of military life.
Absolutely. You're right about that, Izzy. I mean, the world, just like we mentioned on the podcast all the time, the world is constantly changing. The world is constantly evolving. And that is that's no excuse for video games not to move forward as well. So, in that time that we've done, in this podcast in general, we've talked a lot about video games. So, there's been some recent ones, like you said, that we're definitely want to dive into and talk about. And I know, with your continuation of your Twitch channel, I'm sure you've gotten some really cool exposure.
Yep.
I'm still the same as I started this podcast off, where I'm like, yeah, I'll play a video game every now and then. But it's weird. I'm so strange when it comes to video games because like I have my Xbox now, and that's like probably the biggest addition to it.
Yep.
But when I play my Xbox, I play video games that I played years ago, and I do not branch out to new games for some reason. I just like stick with what I like, and I don't know why, because it was so depressing. I'll tell you. And I think if we wanted to, it was. I'm not being dramatic. It was super depressing because like I love Halo for some reason. Even I watched the extremely disappointing Paramount version of the Halo series.
Yes.
And it was not good.
The alternate reality that calls itself Halo. Yeah,
exactly. And I watched it and I'm like, this sucks. I want more from Halo. So I'm like, you know what? And I was like, what? I have Game Pass. So they have the entire Master Chief collection on Game Pass. I was like, whoa. All right, let's go back to my roots. So I played Halo Reach in its entirety. I played Halo 3 in its entirety. The best Halo of all.
Yes.
And I was like, yeah, this is it. This is the Halo. But then I'm like, you know what? Let's really go back to the old days and go to the Gulag. And so I tried signing into the multiplayer, and I'm sitting there hours in the looking for the game. Hours. Nobody plays.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, I felt for the first time in my life, I felt like a boomer. And I was like, these kids and their new games. This is, when old people were like, that's not music. This is music.
You don't know what it was like for us back in the day.
Yeah. I was
Dial up.
All this rap music. That's not music. That was me literally playing the video game. And I'm like, these new games, those aren't games. This is a game. You kids don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, for the Halo series, I think is one of the most legendary game franchises to ever be released.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, it is. Yeah, let's talk about that actually. Because we got them all kind of listed here. And we've mentioned Halo in some capacity in past episodes, but I was looking at our video game episode, particularly with season 2, we had a video game episode, and then we talked about season 1 was the all gaming episodes, and then games from season 2 we ranked our military games, but Halo in depth is something we haven't really done. I played through almost the entire franchise on stream, I think over the course of last year. Because I have the Xbox Game Pass as well. The Master Chief Collection is on there. And so I tried to play them in chronological order. So I started with Reach, then did Combat Evolved, 2, 3, 4, and 5 I kind of skipped over. I got about an hour into it, and I was like, you know what? Let's just go to Infinite. So I played Infinite. That was the last one that I got to play, but never played Halo Wars, those kind of was real-time strategy kind of thing.
Yeah, so those are literally Halo's version of StarCraft.
Yeah.
So, and they're a lot of fun. I remember when when Halo Wars first came out, they had the free trial. When Xbox 360 used to do free trials for video games, so you could play the beta version before it ever came out. They had the free trial for Halo Wars, and as a kid, $60 for a video game is unrealistic.
Yeah.
That's pushing it. So I
Yeah.
played Halo Wars, and it's a lot of fun. It's basically just StarCraft, but with the Flood, or you can be Covenant, you could be USNC. No, it's a good game, but it's different. But I respect it
Sure.
because in the Halo franchise, you don't just have like the run and gun, first person shooters. They also have a little bit of variety in there that you could choose from, which I was like, oh, that's cool.
What was it like playing through Halo Reach for you? Because I was very touched by the story of it. Everybody in my chat was very excited because for a lot of them, a lot of younger players especially, that's like a really powerful gaming moment to play through when you're, 10, 11, 12 or whatever. And what's going to happen. You know the lore of what's going to happen, and you play through it anyway. So there's this kind of the whole playthrough. There was this kind of cloud of tragedy that was hanging over everything. No matter what you did, you knew that in the end that they were all going to die.
Yeah,
they were all going to perish, which,
Yeah.
So what was that like playing through Halo Reach again?
It was really funny because I don't think you understand it when you're a kid. And you're just playing through, you're skipping through all the stories, but like now I replayed it and I did not skip through one cinematic sequence because it's like I actually care what happens. I actually care what happens to these fuckers, even though I know what's going on. But I don't know if I just completely forgot, but like it was touching, it was heartbreaking, and I think that was like. I don't know why we didn't mention this game when we had our like OG self-sacrifice episode.
Oh, you're right, man.
Because the entire campaign, the entire team, except for Kat, who just gets domed, which I was super disappointed because like this armor is supposed to stop everything. And
well, there
all
was
of a sudden,
wasn't it something that was like an EMP at that particular point that
I didn't know
took
that was
out
an
their
EMP.
shields? Yeah, because I said the same thing. I remember on my playthrough, somebody in chat was like, I was like, wait, she just got shot in the head? They're like, oh yeah, there was some sort of like electric EMP.
Yeah, there was
or
an
something that
explosion
happened.
and they're like running
It took out their
away.
shields. And
Oh,
that's why
really?
she was able to get just her armor,
Right. Okay,
Yeah.
so that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. But yeah, most of the people, most of the guys, it's all self-sacrifice.
Yeah.
And they're just like, and they're totally cool with it. And they all know, like, they're like, yeah. I love when George, like the big guy, he's the first to go because he has that, they're trying to blow up the ship and one of them has to stay behind. And you're, what are their code names? It's
man. Yeah.
something 6.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to come. It's not Nomad, but Noble 6.
Yeah.
And he's
Noble
like,
team,
okay.
yeah.
Noble team, and he just like picks you up and throws you out into space.
Yeah.
and he's just like, get out of here. And he just like kills himself, and you're like, oh, and then everyone's like, boom. And I didn't realize that the really cool guy with the skull painted over his helmet. What's his name again? I totally forgot.
Is that Jorge?
Yeah,
We got Jorge, Emil, June,
Emil,
Catherine, and Carter.
Yeah. I didn't know
Noble
Emil's from the streets growing up because he has like a super urban voice. I mean, you never see these guys' face except
that's
for
right.
George and Kat.
Yep.
You don't see Emil's face, but he's like, "Hey, yo, man, what's up, bro?" And I was like, I never realized that Emil's from the streets. Like, I didn't get it. But yeah, there was so much in Reach that I just didn't see or didn't pick up when I was a kid. But yeah, amazing campaign. And I didn't realize when you said that that's the first in the order.
Right. Chronologically.
Yeah, it's super weird because like if you compare like Halo Combat Evolved to like Reach, it's night and day,
Yeah, yeah.
Like, with the armor and the advances and the different weapon systems, like you would think when it was like you wouldn't think that was the first one. But
right.
Yeah, what'd you think playing? I mean, you said you played through them all. You probably played through more than me. What did you think about them? Like how they connected? Were they all good?
Well, I loved, I remember playing Halo, the first one. Sorry, coffee. I remember playing through Halo, the first one, and it starts with them. It's just right after the fall of Reach, and they're trying to get away from the Covenant. I always liked it when stories start in the middle of the story, essentially. Like the audience comes in. This is the beginning for them, but they don't realize that stuff has already been happening. So I credit the writers in the very beginning for having all this backstory, because they could just start it when they start it,
Yeah.
but it's in the middle of the conflict. And so going back to Reach was a lot of fun. Like I love the last stage with Noble 6, where it just says survive. That's your objective.
Yeah, that's your
as long
objective.
as you can. And it's never going to end. They're always going to keep coming at you. And it's just a way to like end the game and to show that they fought to the last man,
Yeah.
Did you ever see the little camera Easter egg at the very last, on the very, not the last stage where you're surviving, but the one before that, where you are finally, the ship is there that ends up being the ship in Halo 1, and you have to load something onto it or something like that. Oh yeah, it's the Cortana program or whatever. And so it's loading on, and if it's the camera's like looking at the thing, it's from inside the ship, and you see the whatever module coming in, and if you push the camera to the right, you'll see Master Chief in his little chamber right there.
Oh, really? No,
Yes.
I didn't even know you could control the cameras.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody had to. Well, so that's one of the advantages of streaming a game live, especially an older one where people have played it before. They're like, "Oh, do this, do this." I'm like, "What?" And so I did it, and I saw him like just for a brief second. It's like a little Easter egg.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I never realized. Yeah.
Yeah, but I can see why those games Reach and then 1, 2, and 3 are like the top games for everybody, because the story hits its peak, especially the heart of that story. The heart of Halo is Master Chief and Cortana.
Yeah. Their relationship.
Yeah, and that's why everything after that kind of just I think didn't seem to rise to the power of storytelling, because it's Master Chief and Cortana. Their relationship is the heart of motorcycles on the freeway. It's the heart of right next to the freeway, but it's the heart of the story. And so I really liked Halo ODST was fun. It was like this weird kind of almost like, the music is very like loungy. It's like a lot of horns and like trumpets. And like,
was it me,
like
or was
jazzy.
ODST actually like way more challenging?
Very challenging.
Super challenging.
Because you don't have you're an ODST. You're not a Spartan.
You're not a Spartan, so
you don't have the shield,
Yeah, no, I played it. And I'm like, what do you mean I have to like find where I'm going? Like nobody's helping me.
Yeah,
I was like, this sucks. Like I get so frustrated. Like I'm gonna go off on a tangent right now. So when I first played Skyrim, I turned it off after like 2 hours because I was literally like, what the fuck do I do? I don't know. Like I get way too much anxiety and like just free roam open world things because I don't know what to do. I need an objective. I need somebody to tell me like with a little arrow, like go here.
Yeah.
And ODST was like, I was like, oh my God. Like, where is this guy? Like, I don't know. I didn't know what to do. And they're like, you got to check your comms, check your everything. And I'm like, I'm not playing this video game for me to stress out, like I'm playing this video game for me to enjoy it, not like literally act like I'm at work right now.
Yeah.
So ODST was difficult, but it was fun being like seeing it from the perspective of like the regular people in a, well, not like the regular people, but like not the Spartans.
Yeah, it's like, because it's supposed to take place, I think, between 2 and 3, or partly into 2 and then just before 3 or something like that.
Okay.
Because it's when Master Chief, I think he leaves and they're going to do a big drop or whatever, or something like that. They drop in and he's not. Yeah. So you guys can correct me on that in the comments section.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, man, Halo, it's interesting. I don't know what they're going to do next. Halo Infinite was fun because it is that kind of open world. You can go out, you can do anything, go anywhere you want.
Stresses me out.
Yeah. And you've got what weapon, which is like Cortana 2.0 or whatever. But it's interesting. I don't know if they're done with it, if they're done with the franchise, or if they're going to come out with something else. But I don't know. I almost feel like, I know nobody ever wants to do this, but I almost feel like they should just let it rest. Let's just let it be. Let it be those games. Go on, make other video games. Let Halo be what it was. And then, I mean, just pretend that the TV show doesn't exist. I don't know, man. I saw a trailer for season 2, and I'm so angry.
Wait, there's a season 2?
There's a season 2 coming out. I saw a trailer for it.
Man,
oh, yeah.
I'm surprised they like greenlit that after everything,
I mean, maybe we're living in a bubble and it's actually one of the most popular shows of all time, and we just hate it,
Yeah.
But they do this thing in the trailer, and I get it because it's very powerful and it's a very strong storytelling device. And they did it with, I think, Halo 3, but they make it, there's a guy giving a speech, and it's this very inspirational speech about, listen, anybody that stays here, you're not going to make it, but we're going to give everybody after us, every moment we defend is a chance for somebody else to live and to go. And so you're going to be remembered. It's really inspirational speech. And I hate that. It's emotional manipulation because I don't want to watch that show. And I know that they released it for free on, I think on YouTube. You can watch the first season for free right now on YouTube.
You know how many times they don't play the Halo song in the first season?
Like, do they not play it at all?
They play it. It's like it suddenly plays and it's like a different version.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where is the Halo song? It's like not, it should, like, even the one where they're like doing stuff and it's like dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. If they would have played that, it would have been over. But no, it's bad. It's just not there.
We've gone, I think in modern day adaptations, we've gone, I think the temptation, the balance is always honoring the source material and doing something new, I think we've gone a little bit too far in the doing something new or doing your own thing, and less in the honoring the source material. That's kind of my general assessment. We'll talk about a little bit about, if we have time, we have some adaptations at the end of the episode that we can talk about, but not going to be watching Halo season 2. You guys watch it. Everybody watches it. Let me know. Let us know how it is. Get a hold of us.
No. Not interested.
Yep.
Not interested. But I think we spent enough time talking about Halo because now I'm just getting absolutely triggered. Sorry, real quick. Before we switch, Arbiter, most loyal character in, I think, video game history.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I didn't realize.
He starts out hating humanity and hating Master Chief, and then he gets betrayed by the Covenant, and then he ends up having a whole turn,
Yeah. No, at the end of Halo 3, when you're like running out of the flood and you're like, you're trying to destroy that building and you're running out and you just hear Cortana go like, I'm picking up a life form sequence. And she's like, I don't know who would be crazy enough to come in here. And then you just turn the corner and Arbiter's like fighting to come save you. And I was just like, yeah, I lost it. And I I was like, wow. Dude, so good. So
Keith David,
good moment.
man. I think he did the voice of Arbiter. Keith David, great voice actor, man.
Yeah, great voice actor. But okay, now we can move on. I just had to say Arbiter, most loyal character, like best. If you're gonna have a friend, you want a friend like the Arbiter.
Yeah, man. I mean, maybe we should definitely have an episode on loyalty about the most loyal characters, and you can put Arbiter in there if you want.
There you go. Yeah. There it is. Okay, now you talk about something. Because,
all right, I want to talk about. I know, I like it. I like seeing you excited. Let's talk about 6 Days in Fallujah.
Okay,
that is a game that it actually started its development a long time ago, and then there was a bunch of controversy because it's based on the Second Battle of Fallujah, a real world event, and it got so controversial. I think the initial company dropped it, and then another company picked it up and completed it. It released this year, I guess, or you could say early release. And then they had a download, some additional stuff that they added to it. So I still not the full game. They don't have a single player campaign. They have just maybe 5 or 6 missions. And then they have kind of I forget what they call it, but you can set the mission parameters to easy or hard. You can have, daytime or nighttime, kinds of weather changes, that kind of stuff. I've been playing it a little bit on Fridays on stream. Going back and forth between that and another one we'll talk about, Ready or Not. But 6 Days of Fallujah, it's the thing about this game. There's a lot of tactical shooters. So you got Ready or Not, Ground Zero, Ground Branch, 0 Hour, 6 Days in Fallujah. The thing about this one is very unforgiving, very challenging, and very unforgiving. Yeah, you really have to be on your toes. And even then, the way that you die, there's no like health or anything. You can get wounded, and it'll give you a chance to patch yourself up or whatever. But if you get domed, if you get shot in the head, it just goes black, and that's it.
That's cool.
Yeah, which is a little chilling because I'm sure, not speaking from experience, of course, but I'm sure that's what it would be like if you got shot in the head.
You can't. I'm sure you can't have like a consultant that was like, I got shot in the head and everything just went black. And brought me back. And they're like, you should put that in the video game,
Yep.
But I would assume it's just lights out.
Yeah, me too. And that's definitely
end of existence.
Yeah, that's definitely a part of the game. You got 4 players on this one. You can do 4 players max online co-op. You have different riflemen, grenadier, kind of the standard, I think Marine squad or the Marine fire team kind of thing.
Yeah.
Uh, all the levels are procedurally generated. So even if you do the same kinds of mission, like a rescue mission or a stop the sniper mission or find the mortar dugout mission, the layout of all of the level will change. It's
Okay.
random every time. That's kind of how they did it. But it's fun. It's still got a long way to go in terms of development. Got to add more missions. Single player campaign would be fun. Maybe, I don't know, maybe a little more. They got the mission variability, which I definitely need to play with because it's a little frustrating. Like how you could be going along and just, man, mortar right in front of you, dead.
Boom.
That's
Dead.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess that's kind of because they really wanted to be respectful of the people and the civilians that were there. They interviewed Iraqi civilians that were there, and they tried to get that real world experience. So they really are leaning into that aspect of it. But 6 Days in Fallujah, I'd be interested in any other military guys' assessment of this because it's really interesting. I'm more on the kind of fantasy sci-fi nerdy side of things. So people, when you get a lot like, oh, you're a military guy, do you play Call of Duty, do you play Battlefield? And so it's like, no, I play Baldur's Gate 3. But
Yeah.
I'd be interested in what other military people think about this particular one, because oh god, sorry, doing too many things at once. Yeah, man, because it's really intense. It's a really intense gameplay experience.
So let me ask you, what's because I haven't played it yet.
Mhm.
I mean, I sit in the background and I see because I follow a lot of gamers, and I've seen from our experience in gameology, like video games find me.
Yes. Yeah.
So, what is this? Was it PC only 6 days, or
This
is
is
it
PC only as far
okay?
as,
So that's why I haven't played it because I don't have a PC.
yeah.
So okay, that makes sense. But yeah, no, I definitely want to check it out because this game has been like out there but not playable for a long time.
Yeah.
You know?
I did a little video back when I was trying to make, military game videos on my personal channel on my happy self. I did like a little 6-minute video on some of the features,
Yeah.
and I tried to get in on that. They gave me and got to their credit, I got a free Steam key for it. I got a
All
couple
right.
extra ones that I gave out to my community. So they definitely like to engage with the 6 Days in Fallujah community.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Nice, man. Nice. Well, you mentioned another one you were playing, what, Ready or Not? I mean, it's not a newer game, but you said 1.0.
Yeah, so Ready or Not, another tactical shooter, only this time you're playing the role of a SWAT team. So it's like
Yeah.
city kind of environments. And they released their 1.0 version in 2023. So it
Yeah.
was early release, and they had a lot of great stuff where they've been building it up for years, for a couple of years actually. And now this is the official, like, this is the game, and then everything after this it will be in addition to. But the 1.0, the full release version came out, and it's really good. They did a big drop and a big update for it where they added all sorts of great features. You can, like, the kind of police station that you're at is fully built out, and it looks great. You got all sorts of different areas you can go to for changing your equipment and getting your mission briefs and choosing
Yeah.
your missions and whatnot. You can do up to 5 people, I think, on this one, which is fun. The more the merrier, I say.
Yeah.
That's why I like Ground Branch. Ground Branch, you can do up to 8 people, which is super
Yeah.
cool. But I play this on Fridays occasionally. Shout out to Ariana Foxton and her crew on Twitch. But this one's good because it's urban stuff, right? So you're going into like crack houses, and there's like
Yeah.
crazy cracked out drug dealers, or you got like a radical like militiaman kind of thing, like either out in the woods, or there's one where it's an apartment building. You got to get room clear down hallways and in apartments. And they even have one. I haven't played this one yet, but there's actually a college shooting, like a school shooter
Oh,
scenario.
like a school shooter
Yeah,
scenario?
yeah,
Active shooter? Yeah, just
active
grab your
shooter.
plates, start
Yeah.
running.
Yeah. I'm interested I respect them for making that. I said that in one of the first formations when it was coming out that week. I said, I respect them for doing something like that because,
It's all aspects of policing.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, exactly. And it's
that's what they
definitely something
enjoy.
that's, yeah, it's in the consciousness. It's something that has happened. It's very widely publicized when it does happen. Yeah, no area is safe. So kudos to them. Yeah, but it's a lot of fun. Ready or Not, I would say out of all the tactical shooters, that's my favorite right now that I'm playing through. And it all depends
Nice.
on who you play with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember when we played on Gameology with who were we playing with? I just remember I kept dying a bunch because like Ready or Not's not a Call of Duty shooter.
No.
It is a you better use tactics here,
Yeah,
bud
it's
type of
slower,
shooter.
more
Yeah.
methodical. Yep.
Extremely deliberate type
Yep.
of shooter. So I think I like those games though, because like it gives you a sense of reality and it actually in your mind you're doing like mental repetitions of like what you would actually do.
Yeah.
But I was just playing it like Call of Duty because like, oh, it's a video game. What's the worst that can happen? And boom, I just get schwacked by some coked out hooker. And I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. I remember playing that. But yeah, I haven't messed with the new version. That's a PC only game too, right?
Yeah, I think Ready or Not's PC only. Hopefully, now that they've released um, the 1.0 version, maybe it'll be coming out on. Oh, it's yeah, Ready or Not most likely come to consoles
In 2024.
2024. Okay, so maybe we can
Right.
get some action in there once it comes out for Xbox. Man, maybe you can get it when you
Yeah.
boot it up.
I'm start growing my Twitch again.
Yeah,
We can
yeah,
get in there and bust down
folks.
some stop and frisk some hookers or stop and
Yeah,
frisk some drug dealers.
zip tie some fundamentalists or something. By the
Yeah.
way, speaking of just a little side note, folks, if you want to catch us at other places, Cameron does have a Twitch stream. What is it? Kick God Cam, all one
Yep,
word.
you can find me on Twitch at KickGodCam. I'm not that active, but
Right.
maybe in 2024
Yep.
we might be. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't hurt to follow.
Yeah, yeah, and of course, I've been active. I've been on Twitch for man, this is going on my third year. But you can find me at My Happy Self, twitch.tv/My Happy Self, and then also, folks, we got extra content for you. I wanted to make mention of that now that we're kind of in the midpoint of the episode. But First Formation on our YouTube channel for the Pop Culture Field Manual podcast. Go to First Formation or go to Pop Culture Field Manual podcast. And then First Formation is my little kind of mini episode where I talk about things that I'm excited for in the coming week. And then Cameron has a wonderful show called The Debrief, where he breaks down some military news and gives his expert advice
Expert. Expert
on
advice and opinions on everything going on. It's a fun
yeah.
show. Honestly, it's really fun to make.
Yeah.
Uh yeah, cuz a lot of it is like it's big news articles, it's big news stories, and
Yeah.
like I've covered some pretty like pretty significant events going on in the military, and it's fun to kind of poke at it from like a lighthearted issue or a
Hmm.
lighthearted perspective.
Hmm.
But most of my opinions are 100% jokes. So if you think I'm serious, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's true, man. And also, if you're on YouTube and you like scary video games, I have another channel that I just recently started called The Is Files, The Is Files. You can go to YouTube and type in The Is Files, and that's me playing through scary video games. It's a lot of fun. This is really kind of more my core passion. I'll always be proud of my military service, but I was a nerd far longer than I've been a military man, a Green Beret. So go and check that out. And then I got more stuff planned for the new year for 2024.
Hell yeah, he does. Well, now let's talk about some non-military tactical games here. I know
Yeah.
you mentioned You're like, oh, I don't play Call of Duty. I play Baldur's Gate.
Ugh.
What's the deal with Baldur's Gate? Because I've seen it on the marketplace and it actually looks really cool. I thought about downloading it. So give me the
I'm telling you, Cameron, you will not regret it. There's a reason why it won Game of the Year back in 2024 at the Game Awards, because it's a 10
2023.
out of 10 experience. Sorry, 2023. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, damn,
Last year.
time
It's
traveler.
the Game of the Year for 2 years in a row already because it's so good. No, it's 10 out of 10, man. It's basically, it's the D&D universe. It's kind of 3/4 down RPG. If you've played Divinity 2 or the other Baldur's Gate games, same format. You've got your character and you're out there with your crew, and everybody's got a backstory. You got all sorts of side adventures you're going on, all sorts of main quests, and you can basically wander around and do whatever you want. And the game I need to be smarter because this game has so many options and so many different ways that you can slice either a battle encounter or a dialogue encounter or some sort of situation in the game, it's
Mhm.
up to you. People have found such hilarious and great ways to break this game because it gives you so many options. I think that's one of the main appeals of it. The voice acting is great. The dialogue's great. The options that you have and the choices that you have about what path you want to take out in the game. It's awesome, man. And I know people that are on their 5th and 6th playthrough because they'll just
Wow.
try things different way. They'll make different decisions. They will and won't meet certain characters that will branch off and create totally different adventures. They'll kill off main characters. You can kill off people in your party and never
Oh.
have access to their stories. It's awesome, man. It's it's so much fun. Hats off to Larian Studios who just put a lot of great love and hard work into the game, and it shows. I've been playing this on stream, and this is like I'm going to be playing this on my stream for quite a while because it's so fun. It's so hilarious the things you could do. I'll give you one example. So there I was in
No
this
shit, there I was.
in this village that had been decimated by a goblin horde. And they've got these goblins are torturing this poor little gnome. They've got him strapped to a windmill. And you guys know play this, you know what I'm talking about. He's going around and around the windmill. They're making fun of him. And you go in there like, I want to help this guy out, right? So
Yeah.
I go in there and I do some great slick intimidation dialogue choices, and the goblins they skedaddle. They're out of there. So I'm like, all right, I can save this guy. You go around
Save this gnome.
to the back part of the windmill, and there's 2 levers. I didn't know this at first. There's a brake lever and then a release brake lever. Now, if you only see release brake lever, you think that you might interpret that as in like release the brake lever as in release the lever that is the brake so that it
Yeah,
can
so you can
stop.
use it.
Yes, you can stop the windmill. Well, that's not exactly what it does because I pressed release the brake lever and that makes the windmill go even faster. So eventually, physics dictates that eventually that thing gets going so fast, and I yeeted that gnome out into the
Nice.
distance.
Good choice of words
And
there.
everybody's like, well, there goes that guy's storyline. Like he had a whole storyline, a whole mission set that you could go and
Yeah.
explore and get rewarded from. But no, I found his corpse later on and
Oh, man.
grabbed his log and his poor little amulet. Maybe on my
Amulet.
second playthrough I won't kill him, but now I know.
Yeah.
Now I know, folks. It's the
Yeah.
brake lever, not the
Brake
release.
lever.
The brake lever. Just so
There you go. That's funny, man. That's a good story. What else? So Baldur's Gate, your description definitely sells it. So
Oh, man.
you're hired for
Yeah.
that marketing team.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely check it out. So you also have Dead Space remake here.
Yeah, Dead Space remake. Oh man, you know the whole remake craze is an interesting thing, man. I think it probably, I don't know if it started it during the pandemic, maybe. I feel like that maybe somebody who knows the lore, the history better than I do, but there have been a lot of remakes lately. You noticed
Yeah.
like Resident Evil 4, and I mean even back in like
We're
even
running
back
out of
to
ideas, man.
yeah, right. And I think the pandemic, the lockdowns must have been like, hey guys, we can't go anywhere. Let's take these properties that we already have. Can we maybe like pump them up and redo the graphics? But not for some of these remakes, they don't just enhance the graphics or update the graphics. They do like a whole overhaul on the game. And Resident Evil 4 is a good example. And then Dead Space remake, which I played on my stream this last year, it's so good. They've improved on almost every aspect of it. The storyline's better. Isaac Clarke, he has a voice in this one, which in the original, he didn't have a voice in the first one. He had one in the second one, but they give him a voice in this one. They improve his storyline and everything else about it. The graphics, the gameplay mechanics, little tweaks and things that maybe were a little clunky in the original version, which came out in 2008. So this is quite a ways away afterwards from the original, but all that adds up to, I think, arguably something that is actually better than the original game.
Wow.
Yeah. And my hat's off to them because that's hard to do. The power of the first game is that it's the first one that came along. And I feel like for a lot of games, for a lot of people, a lot of gamers out there, it's it grained itself. It's ground itself like deep into your heart. So we'll always have a special place there that's really hard to like knock it off its pedestal, you know,
Yeah.
even if like games come along later on, they have better graphics and they're sequels to the game. Yeah, they're going to be awesome. They're going to be great, but there's something about that first one that really kind of like cements it in your mind. With this one, with the Dead Space remake in particular, man, if anybody was like, I've never played Dead Space, I'd be like, play the remake as your first experience, because then you can go and play the other ones and be just fine. But this one it's amazing, man. And I'm just very, very impressed with all the improvements that they made on it. And I'm glad that I got a chance to play it, because everybody had been talking about it, speaking of it very highly. And yeah, and I'm glad I did.
Well, that's good, man. Speaking of remakes, people aren't just remaking video games into games. There's been a lot of video games being remade into movies and television series. I mean, obviously
Yeah.
we talked about Halo, which we're not going to talk about anymore. But I think it'd be fun to end this episode, or at least end our conversation here, talking about some video game remakes that came into TV shows.
Yeah.
And if I want to start it off, everybody's, if you listen to the previous episode, the pop culture 2023 breakdown of best movies of the year, you know that I'm a big fan of the Super Mario Brothers movie. I thought it
Yeah.
was so fun.
Yeah.
And just, it's weird because like my fiance is, she's in medical school. She's an intellectual. She's very mature,
Yeah.
but she gets down on Mario like no other person I've ever met. Like, when you like go to like a restaurant and that you see a kid in the corner and he's got like a Switch and he's probably most likely like playing some Mario or what's that one video game where like you can have an island, Animal Crossing or
Yeah.
something
Animal
a little
Crossing.
funny like that.
Yeah.
That's my fiance's. That's her jazz right
That's
there.
like her one game. Like, she's not a
Yeah.
gamer, but that's like her one game.
Oh yeah,
she
she's
loves.
not a
So,
gamer at all, but like she will play Mario. I bought her a Nintendo DS during COVID. I mean, not a DS. I'm going back in the day. A Nintendo Switch.
you are a boomer.
Yeah, sorry. I bought her a Game Boy Color, and she just can't put it down. Yeah, no. So I bought her a Switch, and like the first game she downloaded was Super Mario Brothers, the remastered version, and it's a lot of fun. And it's like half of it's Super Mario Bros. Remastered, and half of it's Bowser's Fury, which is like so different.
Huh.
Instead of like a side scroller kind of looking thing, it's like 100% third person.
Wow.
So like it's really fun, and like Bowser's like on steroids, and like it's crazy. It's actually really fun. But she plays that religiously. But I think it's super fun how like even as like grown people, and I play it and I have a really good time too.
Nice.
How much we can like go back and enjoy these games that we think are for kids or whatnot, but they're totally not. They're like for everybody. They're rated E for everyone.
I like it. I guess that's why, I can understand from a business standpoint the temptation to adapt a popular video game into a movie or a TV series, because you've got potentially a built-in audience. And Super Mario, the Mario Brothers, Mario is like one of the most iconic video game characters of all time in the history.
Yeah,
of
he's the
video
most
games.
recognizable character in history.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean that it's always a slam dunk, because what was it? The original
the original
brother?
Super Mario Bros.
Yeah,
That was like dumpster party.
John Leguizamo and oh man, what's his name? You guys tell me. Mario.
Yeah, 1993.
Yeah.
Live action,
baby, with Dennis Hopper as Bowser. Who's Mario? Tell me.
Let's see.
Bob Hoskins.
Bob Hoskins.
There you go. Okay, I got it. You guys don't have to correct me. I got it.
Yeah.
But this one, they committed to the source material. I think they went animated, and they even, they got, obviously it's like a big deal to get all the like huge actors to be the voices. But I mean, Jack Black as Bowser with his Peaches song was pretty awesome. And they were able to fit in practically into the storyline, the side-scrolling nature, like the side-scrolling platforming nature. It's like kind of a training kind of thing. They were able to bring in Donkey Kong, and Donkey Kong Country, the whole Donkey Kong world. But yeah, I thought they did a good job because they gave Mario, it's classic storytelling. If you want, there's like basic things that I think make a story work, and you got to give, the character something. Got to give them like a change, some sort of challenge, some sort of internal challenge, right? Not just an external challenge. But they definitely gave Mario that. All the characters are as you think they would be. It wasn't like Oscar contender. Like, actually, I need to stop saying that. I say, when I say Oscar contender, I mean I mean it as like a high quality, good writing, good direction, whatever. But I don't even like the Oscars anymore. I don't even like award shows. So anyway, sorry, I had a personal epiphany in the middle of the episode. I just wanted you all to share in it. But it's not exactly a high class, like the best film, like A+. I'd give it a solid like B+.
Yeah.
But it made a ton of money too. I think they're even talking about a Legend of Zelda movie or TV show. So
All right.
yeah, I don't know.
Well, that's cool, man.
Yeah, it could go either way. Did you
Yeah.
watch did you have any favorite adaptations from last year?
From
Or
last
or,
year,
or I
I
guess
did
any of them. Any
I
year.
did enjoy the Dungeon and Dragons Honor Among Thieves.
That was fun. Yeah,
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be like straight Game of Thrones vibes, like super serious, but then
Oh,
the jokes kept coming, and I was like, okay. I was like,
yeah.
this is just a slapstick medieval Dungeon and Dragons movie, and I was
Yes.
like, that's really fun. I was like, it was good. I watched it on an airplane, as I watch all my movies. But also, so yeah, Dungeon and Dragons Honor Among Thieves, I thought was fairly well done. Not to mention it did pretty well. It made $50 million.
You know what, man? Actually, I was looking at some stats recently, and it actually bombed.
What?
Yeah, it didn't. It did not make enough money. I don't know if we're going to see a sequel. Actually, I think they confirmed a sequel. Maybe it did make enough, but I was looking at lists of bombs from last year, like
Uh-huh.
box office bombs, and I thought I saw it on there. So you guys can correct us if I'm wrong. But I don't think it made as much money as maybe they wanted it to. But maybe they made enough to warrant a sequel. But I don't know what it's going to look like. Maybe it's going to be like super low budget.
Yeah, because that one they put a lot. Looks like they put a lot of money into it.
Yeah,
What, $150 million budget?
yeah, yeah. And then
Okay.
you always got to double it. They say the rule of thumb is to double it for marketing purposes, because they usually put hundreds of millions into marketing all around the
Oh yeah,
world. You know,
billboards. I'm talking billboards. I'm
yeah,
talking flyers.
talking
I'm
internet
talking door to
ads.
door.
Yep.
Door to door. Hey, have you heard the good news?
Did you know that Dungeons and Dragons has a wonderful plan for your life?
Yeah. What about you? Anything from last year that the adaptations that you enjoyed, or what about things that are coming that you're like super excited about?
Well, I mean, talking about coming up, like upcoming shows, the Fallout TV series on Amazon is on its way. And
All right,
it
all right,
might
all
be
right.
here at the time you're listening to this. It might be already on its way, but it's coming up in February 2024. It's coming out on Amazon, and it looks good. There's a few reasons to be skeptical. One reason to be maybe optimistic. The trailers looks like good production value. Of course, I think that should be an industry standard nowadays, especially with Amazon, with how much money they
Oh
must
yeah.
have put into it. Jonathan Nolan, one of the producers, so brother of Christopher Nolan, great writer, I think.
Oh.
We'll see if he had had a lot of creative control on this one. The only problem is the writing credits. I always look at the writing credits on IMDb for anything that's coming out to give me kind of like a baseline or like a meter to predict whether or not I think it's going to be good. The writing credits include the woman who wrote Tomb Raider and the Captain Marvel movies, and a guy who wrote a bunch of Portlandia episodes.
Ooh, that sounds awful. That sounds terrible.
I don't know. Maybe sometimes the creative vision of somebody, kind of guiding the writers,
Yeah.
it's hard to know creatively who's driving the boat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes,
Let me drive the boat. Yeah.
yeah. Because sometimes they'll put like Todd Howard's names on there, but I don't know how much creative input he had. He's the one that created Fallout 4, and he did Skyrim, and he's been creating video games for a long time. But so like sometimes they just put the names on there, like, James Cameron had his name as a producer on Terminator Dark Fate, and you know that he had nothing to do with that film.
Yeah, just
So we'll see. We'll
upgrade that
see.
IMDb.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm excited. I've loved the Fallout series since I think Fallout 3 was the first game I ever played in that series. Fallout New Vegas is 10 out of 10, one of the greatest games I've ever played, period.
Really?
Fallout 4 didn't really appeal to me. There was something about it that didn't really grab me. But I'm excited, man. I'm excited to. There's still something like that childlike wonder in my heart that wonders what it would be like if something that I love came to life, like some video game
Yeah.
or some cartoon or whatever came to life. So we'll see, man. We'll see if it works out.
Yeah. I think we all hope for that, man.
Yes.
It's super exciting, but
Yeah.
then if it's a disappointment, it is like infuriating.
Yeah.
Rings of Power.
Yeah. It's either going to be One Piece live action on Netflix, which was great, or
Yeah.
Rings of Power.
Yeah, which we
or
don't talk
Halo,
about.
Yeah, we don't
Yeah, which we don't talk about. But well, cool, man. Well, I think that sums up everything. We got one fan question and then a game to take us out and end this episode. So
yeah.
this fan question is a mystery fan. It looks like an anonymous person, and they want to know. You're stuck on a deserted island and you can only choose one movie, one TV show all seasons, and game to play for a year until you get rescued. What movie, TV show, and game do you choose?
Oh, that's cool. We get all the seasons of the TV show.
Yeah, well, let's see here. Obviously, we're going to have to pick something that's going to last a long time.
Something that you would never get tired of. I like this question because there are those movies and TV shows and games that you could just play over and over and over again and never get tired of for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And then there's some stuff that's just imminently forgettable. You play through it and you're like, okay, I did that or I watched that and I never have to go back and watch it ever again. That didn't impact me.
Yeah. That's hard because, like, I was thinking the complete opposite. I was like, what? I mean, I'm thinking, like, shows that have double-digit season numbers. So, like, for me, I was like, okay, what about I'll do The Simpsons,
Oh, yeah. Or
for my
Doctor
TV
Who,
show.
like the old
Yeah.
Doctor Who all the way up to the current,
Yeah, so basically, I would pick The Simpsons as a TV show just because it's funny. It's great, right? I
Yep.
like being humor. They have some good episodes with, like, good stories and whatnot, but they just have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds
Yeah.
of episodes to pass the time. So I'll do The Simpsons. Only choose one movie. That's going to be easy. I'd never get tired of. It's only one movie. It's not like a trilogy. It can't be
Nope,
like a
just
friend.
one
No.
movie.
Oh, never
One
mind.
movie. You were thinking like Lord of the Rings trilogy or something?
Yeah, I'll probably. Yeah. Okay, let's see. One movie. One movie. It needs to be a long ass movie.
I mean, I think I'm gonna have to go with Aliens because it's like
Oh, really?
it's like comfort food at this point. If it's ever a cold, dark, stormy, tropical night, I get into my cave, pop it into my DVD player, and just watch the
Yeah.
extended cut of
Go
Aliens.
into my cave. Yeah, I'll probably say the extended edition of the Return of the King for Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
It's 3.5 hours, almost 4 hours long, and yeah, it just has a lot of stuff that makes it ultimate.
Yeah.
I would even say, like, in the theater versions, Two Towers, or the Two Towers is my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
But if the extended editions were, like, on the table too, I think the extended edition of the Return of the King is probably my favorite.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do extended edition of Return of the King. It's 4 hours long. That's a good way to kill time.
Yeah, man.
And there's a lot of stuff in there. And then let's see, one game to play. Well, that's hard. Does it include, like, updates and expansions?
Yeah, like the full version of any game.
Okay, then I play
mean,
World of Warcraft.
World of Warcraft. Okay.
Oh Lord.
You'll never get tired of it.
There's no winning. You can't win it. It's just so long. And, like, even if you, like, feel like, hey, like, I'm done, like, I don't want to play. Guess what? There is so many more races and classes that you could learn and play that it's a brand new experience for you. So, like, yeah, probably World of Warcraft with all the expansions.
Nice, man. I mean, Aliens would be my movie for sure. Cause I'll never get tired of seeing that. If somehow that wasn't available, it would be Big Trouble in Little China. Cause I never get tired of watching that movie. TV show. I mean, I feel like I could always watch like Star Trek Deep or Star Trek The Next Generation, the full series of that. It's the 7 seasons. I think there's precious few episodes that I can think of that I didn't like in that show. And there's some that I could just watch over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't mind hanging out for a year and watching that. And then Baldur's Gate 3. It's fresh on my mind, and I know I'm gonna play it more than once because there's just so many different ways to play that game that would definitely get me through a full year.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, those are good answers. But we hope that answers your question, mystery person. But folks, we have a game to play, and I'm the game master this week. So, Izzy, this is a game for you.
Okay.
Another episode, another game for Izzy to show off how nerdy he is, or potentially isn't, as he falls flat on his face. Either way,
Oh God,
we're gonna have a good time. This game is called Video Game Excitement Superfan Trivia. Okay,
that sounds like he translated it from Japanese.
yeah, from like Japanese anime or something. Okay, Video Game Excitement Superfan Trivia. Okay, happy claps. Yeah, okay. I'm going to ask you a video game question based on some of the games we discussed today, and you tell me the answer. It's multiple choice, so you're welcome.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so we're just going to dive right in because there is no warm up. So are you ready, my friend?
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. Number 1, there is a total of 5 questions. So, according to Nintendo, how many Super Mario Bros. Games have there been? Is it A, 15? Is it B, 19? Is it C, 23? Or is it D, 27?
Oh man, I hate it when he has the numbers very close to one another.
Yeah,
it's not
they're
like
like
150 or 100.
We're splitting hairs.
Yeah. I'm gonna go. I'm just because. I mean, there's original NES, there's Super NES, there's GameCube, there's 64, there's Game Boy. I'm gonna go with the top one. Was a D29.
27. So you have
27
15, 19, 23, and 27.
I'm gonna say 27 because I just know there's the games that I alone can think of, but I'm sure there's games that I'm missing. So I'm gonna say 27.
Okay, and I'm going to say incorrect, my friend. You're close. It's in the 20s, but is going to be 23, a conservative 23 Super
Okay.
Mario Bros. Games, and that has a link for authenticity. So Chris isn't making these up.
So he's not lying. He's just blatantly
Yeah, he's
lying.
not lying.
Like he's prone to doing.
Yeah, obviously we've checked him on it multiple times. But all right, man. Well, you missed the first one. That's okay because you still got 4 more here. Are you ready for number 2?
4 out of 5. Let's go.
Okay. In the game franchise Halo, who built the Halo devices? Was it A, the Covenant? Was it B, the Flood? C, the UNSC? Or D, the Forerunners?
That would be D, the Forerunners, because the Covenant and the UNSC, they all want it, or the Covenant wants it. But the Forerunners, I think, made it in order to stop the Flood. I think that's the kind of initial kind of storyline from the first one. But I'm going to say the Forerunners.
You are correct. It is indeed the Forerunners. So coming back. All right. One for 1 or 1 for 2. Here we go. Number 3. Who was RoboCop pitted against in a 1993 game? Was it A, Aliens, the Xenomorphs? Was it B, the Terminator? Was it C, the Predator? Or was it D, the X-Men?
Oh, dang. Just in terms of what I think what would be a good battle, the 1993 game, I never played that one. I played the crappy NES one, but I'm going to say the Terminators because if I recall, there's a Dark Horse comic where he fights Terminators or something like that. But I'm going to say Terminators.
I'm going to say your nerdiness is showing, my friend. Yes, it is the Terminators. And I got a very honorable Wikipedia link here. So, yes, it is the Terminators. Good job.
Okay, cool.
All right. Moving on, number 4. What year was the first Gran Turismo game released?
Oh my gosh.
Was it Yeah, this one's not cool. Was it 1995? A. Was it B, 1996? Was it C, 1997? Or was it D, 1998.
Screw you, Chris. Screw you, man.
Yeah, dude. That's brutal. Well, you got a
Okay,
25% chance of getting this one right.
I'm trying to think, did Gran Turismo come out for the PlayStation 1 or did it come out for the PlayStation 2? Because I know that in college it was a game that was spoken of, and that was like the PlayStation 2 days. So I'm going to say I wasn't really into, I've never really been into like real race car racing games like, F-Zero maybe, but if it's just a car, it doesn't really interest me. So I'm not a big fan of the series. Let's say it was, let's say 1997. 1997.
Final answer?
Yep.
You are correct.
Ooh!
Wow. 25%. 1 in 4.
Totally a guess.
Yeah. It was 1997. Good job, man. Way to shoot that one in the dark. All right. Last
Nice.
one. Last one. Let's see if you can finish strong because you are doing great. Number 5. Are you ready?
Yep.
Naughty Dog, the makers of The Last of Us, have 2 other video game series that they make. What are they called? Multiple choice.
Oh, geez.
So there's 2 answers in here.
Okay.
So is it A, Uncharted, B, Ratchet and Clank, C, Counter-Strike 2, and D, Jackson Daxter? So basically you got to pick 2 of these.
Yeah. I'm going to say A, Uncharted for sure. It's Nathan Drake. And then the Jackson Daxter, because I remember reading on Neil Druckmann's biography one time that he had worked on one of the Jackson Daxter games. Yeah.
Jackson Daxter.
So I'm going to say Uncharted and Jackson Daxter.
You are correct.
Hey!
Wow. Your nerdiness is that to be admired, my friend. I love how you're like, yeah, I was reading this biography of who?
Neil Druckmann, he's the president of Naughty Dog, but he came up through the company. His big thing is if you loved The Last of Us 2, then you love Neil Druckmann. If you loved the series, the TV series on HBO, then you love Neil Druckmann. And so anyway, because he had the most creative control, I think, over those projects, but he also worked on Jackson Daxter. So.
Okay, right on. Well, nice, man. Started off a little rickety, but honestly, that Super Mario Bros. Question, who knows that? They have a lot.
Yeah, they got a lot. I mean, that's a tricky one because it's like the Final Fantasy question. How many Final Fantasy games? How many Zelda games,
Yeah, no, and like, what do you consider a Zelda game? Like, what's in the, yeah. But anyways, good job, man. You went 4 for 5. Awesome.
Thanks,
I'm
man.
very impressed by your nerdiness.
It's all I got.
Yeah.
That's what I bring to the party.
Well, folks, we hope you enjoyed this episode of the Pop Culture Field Manual podcast. It was another fun one, and we hoped you guys enjoyed this one. If you aren't already, make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube so you can stay on top of the debrief as well as the First Formation new content videos we're making for you guys, as well as checking us out on Spotify or anywhere that the podcast is available. Izzy, you got anything, buddy?
Folks, if you like this content and you want more of it, we got a Patreon. Come and join us. It's very reasonably priced. You get full episodes on the lower tier. You get full episodes and extra episodes, 1 extra episode a month on the middle tier. And then on the top tier, you get all that. Plus, we do a live stream every month of a movie that we will choose and you will enjoy. And we'll hang out on the Discord for a little bit. It'll be fun.
Absolutely. And with that, folks,
cue music.